Hello.
Home Alone, one of my favorite films across the holiday season. I mean, do I really need to explain why? Okay, I will just for those who haven't seen it. Very quick rundown of this film is that this kid called Kevin, youngest of a massive family, wants more independence in his house. Begging his mother for exactly this, she politely declines.
Just stay up there. I don't want to see you again for the rest of the night.
And then he wishes they weren't there, only for him to wake up the next morning and find himself, you guessed it, home alone.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
Turns out they all went on holiday without him, and him, you know, being an 8-year-old, just think his wish came true.
I made my family disappear.
Basically thinking his wishes come true, he goes ahead and does whatever he wants in the house, but of course this is the real world. Two robbers who have been targeting his house for a long while decides this is the best opportunity to rob the house of all of its valuables, which would have been a fine plan if Kevin McAllister wasn't such a psychopath to increase these guys' medical bills tenfold. A goofy and, for better words, traumatic experience, then proceeds to take up the extra runtime of the film, and then all in all a lesson is learned, family is reunited, and the film ends. Frankly, the first Home Alone film is an incredible film, and I'm very excited that LEGO are deciding to make a set around it. Home Alone set has just been announced and will be coming to us as soon as November 1st. The references in this set look to be amazing, and I basically think of it as one of those sitcom sets just on a very large scale, which I'm very happy about because the minifigures and the references in this set look to be some of the best that LEGO have included, with all these sticker details really giving off those classic Home Alone vibes. And although I frankly loved this set, one controversial thing that I've seen on the internet countlessly since the set's drop is, why is the house that particular shade of brown? Most Google image results will show it in a more lighter color, similar to how we see other masonry bricks done in lighter colors such as dark orange, tan, or dark tan. And would they look better on something like this, looking more accurate to these images that you see all over Google? So I tried to put my mind in the mind frame of someone who doesn't believe that this is the correct color and what they might be going off of. Obviously, there are a lot of people that are just bandwagoning, but most people I assume are going off of Google images like this, which is actually the first image on Google Images if you search Home Alone house. Clicking this image leads you to an article called What's Changed About the Iconic Home Alone House 30 Years Later. It talks a lot about the house that was actually filmed in, and talks more about the buying history rather than anything else. But what I'm interested in is the video that they put attached to the article, where we have a video tour of the actual house, with most exterior shots being, you guessed it, dark brown. And this one at the top of the page clearly using heavy forms of color correction to try and make the image look nicer than it actually is. Think of color correction like filters on Instagram, but you can customize every aspect of them. This image has clearly been color corrected. If you ask me, isn't a fair justification on why the LEGO model is getting such flack for the color. The only other set of images I could think people were talking about is this set of images, but again, I think this is a stretch because clearly it's not the actual house. If you follow the link to CNET, you can actually see that the entire thing is made of gingerbread, hence why it looks like the color of, well, gingerbread. The model was posted around this sort of time last year, hence why it's in recent Google history. The model took 300 hours to complete, and the reason I think it may have fooled a lot of people is because it actually has LEDs inside, so people may think it's real. This article will be linked in the description below, as well as the tour conducted of the original Home Alone house, if you guys are more interested in checking that sort of stuff out. Basically, these are the only images I could find on the top page of Google that may have confused people into thinking the house was actually lighter than it actually is. But the issue is that LEGO designers, when they come up with reference, yes, they're using Google Images as well, but most of the time they'll go from film assets. And most of this film depict the house as being a dark brownish color, with different lighting making the house look lighter or darker depending on what scene it's in. Most of the exterior shots of the house we can actually see from shots like these that we can see that the house is actually in fact a reddish brown brick. We get to see the house under several weather conditions, under several different lighting conditions, and you can see from all of the references that it still comes up as a very dark brown color, with the lighter colored cement used to try and offset this to make it look like a brighter house. This has led people to believe that different color masonry bricks would look better in this situation. I've heard everything from dark red looking better all the way to dark orange looking better, but I'm here to defend what the LEGO designer used, as I believe it to be the more accurate color. But you know who's never wrong? The members that make these videos possible. I think a big thanks to them is in order, as they are truly the ones that make this channel tick. A big thanks to Brightest Witch Bricks, Ben Willett, Pixel Craftian, Brother from Another Brick, Dustin Martin, and all of the other people on screen for being members and making this channel bigger and better every day. If you want to be a member like these lovely people, do go ahead and press that join button next to that subscribe button, which I assume assume has already been pressed if you're liking this content. Anyway, back to the video. I've already explained that I believe the LEGO set to have used the correct color. As taking a look at the filmed reference, which is what the designers would have used, you can see that the house is a brown brick. Here is a couple of renditions I have photoshopped, because I don't actually own the set yet, show you what the house would have looked like in other colors. The first one here is in dark red. Now, I don't believe this is the correct color. I think it makes it look too firehousey, but I can see why people like the idea of it being in dark red. It's the same reason why I don't think the same firehouse technique should have been used for this build. This same firehouse technique was also used in the medieval blacksmith, because I believe those techniques would look better on a older building or buildings like a firehouse, considering they've used it on multiple firehouses. Both tan colors I don't think are the correct spot to use either. Dark tan just makes the whole house look a bit too muddy in my opinion, and although tan does look better in terms of an actual building, in terms of actually looking movie accurate, it misses the mark drastically. If I'm honest, dark orange is the furthest from what I could see actually being the real set. I'm still convinced this looks more like a baked bean house than anything else. I also don't think a mix would have been a better solution either, because mixing colors like red and dark orange and reddish brown wouldn't have gone well in terms of one building, because it would make the building look a bit old and beaten down, but considering this is meant to be a £3 million mansion, I think the color consistency would have been good and not to go with mixed colors. I also think in the design process of this set, LEGO would have tried out multiple colors, considering that that's what the design process is for, and I would have thought when this model was presented to other LEGO designers on the team, a lot of thought would have gone into the color of the actual building. I also think the LEGO Ideas designer would have had more of a say in what color the building would have been, considering his was also reddish brown on his original Ideas project. However, I do want to slightly touch on the fact that the Ideas project for this looks vastly different to what we're getting in the official set. And even though most of the time I would go, yeah, LEGO's redesigns of Ideas projects are usually for the better, and there are probably valid reasons they didn't do this or that with the actual official set, because it's an Ideas project, I can't help but compare the two and wish one thing over the other. First thing I want to point out is that the entire building is made of masonry bricks. This is one thing that me and Topic Bricks have looked at, and both agree that this would have been a way better option and road to go down for the official set. Now, like I say, there is probably a reason that LEGO didn't do this design in the final set. It could have been something even simply down to production or set design, considering the way the official LEGO set opens, which by the way I think is a way better designed aspect of the set compared to the original project. So I hope that clears up the color argument we've been having over the last 10 hours. Another thing I wanted to quickly touch on is the fact that LEGO seems to have this idea lately that minifigures are a luxury in terms of sets, but I want to say in terms of the minifigures here, I was only expecting 3 minifigs, being Kevin, Harry and Marv. A lot of customs have done these figures already because they're such iconic figures, and I'm really happy that the design department not only gave them the justice they deserve, but also gave some additional accessories like the toboggan and also the beanie and the scarf. Not only that, they gave us what I would call luxury minifigs, being Kevin's mum and Marley, 2 minifigures I genuinely count as luxuries, as I didn't expect them at all when this set was announced. Not only that, but they've given a load of extra accessories with things like the van, which now I have to buy because I'm a sucker for movie cars, and the addition of a treehouse, which actually has a functioning zipline. Overall, an incredible set, and one I don't understand why we're complaining about. Even the roof being covered in snow is a pretty cool touch, as it really cements it in the scene of when Harry and Marv tried to break into the building. Although, I do wish they would have used the same technique like I used on my blacksmith shop, to make it look like it was part of a Winter Village set. But hey, I guess you can see more of that video by clicking the screen now. See you in the next one.